Welcome everyone for today's episode. On today's episode, I interview a martial artist, a Shaolin Kung Fu instructor, member of the Hong Kong Stuntman Association, a SAG-AFTRA stunt performer, and American actor. After spending 3 years in Shenzhen and Hong Kong, China, he's now moved back to the United States to continue work in the US entertainment industry and is currently studying with the Barrow Group Performing Arts Center in New York City. Welcome to the Winner Circle, Tom Caserto.
Thanks, brother. So good to be here, man.
Yeah, so
And
nice to see. It's so
with you.
nice to see you. Yeah, so nice to see you. We connected at the beginning of me recording these Welcome to the Winner Circle conversations. That's over 130 episodes ago.
I
Um,
know.
we
It's
were a
crazy.
part, yeah, we were part of the Go For Your Win 3 group together. We had a mastermind, you, me, Andrea, Taiha, and Mariano, which is pretty cool. And you even co-hosted a past episode. And the intention today is to interview you, to shine some light on your incredible story and to catch up on what you've been up to.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, appreciate it. Honored to be here in this, man. Yeah, I saw you. I thought you were gonna take a little break before, and then you just kept going with the podcast, and so inspiring just seeing all the people you're reaching out to, and all the things you're doing on here. And every time I catch up with you, you're always doing something new, and yeah, I should be interviewing you. Let's switch it around today.
Not today, maybe in the future. We'll catch up after the call, but today's call is all about you. And as you know, the goal about these conversations are to really uplift, inspire, and empower all those listening along. And the first question sets us up for such, and that is, Tom Caserto, irregardless of what's going on the external world, the news, the media, not interested. What do you love about your personal world right now?
My personal world. Yeah, that's a big part too, not paying attention to all the stuff going on. Like when we first met, I was having a hard time, and doing the winner circle. I mean, the go for your win really helped focus on, what I wanted in life. And yeah, I stopped watching all the news and, stuff like that because it was taking me in, a direction that I couldn't, yeah, I couldn't really focus because all these things were like taken over in my mind, and a lot of fear was coming in and stuff. But yeah, it really shifted, and since then I really haven't listened much to what's going on besides some stuff you can't avoid. But in my life, yeah, I have a wonderful girlfriend named Leanne that I've been with. We've been together for about a year and a half, and it's my most the most beautiful relationship of my life. And yeah, we're just living our best lives together, doing everything we love. And yeah, she's a yoga instructor and kids yoga um, teacher, and we do our yoga together. We do a lot of hot yoga these days. A lot of 26 and 2 since I hurt my back, and yeah, doing that not all that much, doing it like once a week. And like you mentioned, going to the Barrow Group in Manhattan, which is a acting school which Anne Hathaway went to, and I've been doing that for about a year program that's coming to an end. And right now, working on uh, some culminating performances that I'm doing a scene from Danny and the Deep Blue Sea with somebody, and yeah, just really working on that right now. And then on all my free time, I'm just drumming. I get my drum kit back here in the shed over here, and yeah, this is my main passion in life right now. Just the flow state that I get into it all. Every time I start drumming, an hour goes by and I'm soaking wet, and just I'm not like most of it's freestyle. I've learned a little bit from teacher, some basic beats and stuff. But since I got my drums a few years ago, I kept it to my friends, and I I just play around with it, make, beats. I didn't really know much, about counting or doing whatever, but I just played around with it, and I just found so much satisfaction in just making little sounds with it, and then it's just evolving into something, you know, uh, which is similar to the at the beginning, but I felt like there was more. I was trying to think of what to do a little bit more. Now it just flows out, and like, I warm up and I'm going crazy fast using kung fu moves on it and stuff. And yeah, it's very much like kung fu, which is something I've done, since I was 14 with a long break. But yeah, I lost my passion for martial arts, or training martial arts, years ago, and started doing it as a job. Um, basically to get my action acting career going, and I just kept going with this, kept training, and wound up, having a very successful career in stunts, doing, yeah, a lot of different stunts, but mostly like martial arts action fighting. And yeah, that kind of is on the side right now. I don't feel too, I'm still, very skilled in it, and I keep up with my skills and learn things here and there. But this is really what I love doing. And then the spending time with the girlfriend, family, and um, that type of stuff, and the acting. I enjoy the acting part and telling beautiful stories, and yeah, just playing and doing all that. I feel like that's a good outlet for me too.
That's also incredible. I'm super proud of you, all that you have accomplished, and all that lays ahead for you in the future. Um, Another question I like to ask, and you're familiar with this one, and it's something that is always changing, um, but that pertains to your mission. So that's your mission in everything that you do, whether that be as a partner to Leanne, as an actor, as a drummer, as a stunt performer, um, as a friend, as a son, everything that you do as a citizen of this earth. What is your overarching mission that guides you in all that you do, Tom?
Um, I'd say just continuing to become my best self, living with least resistance, and yeah, being a good example to other people, and getting rid of, yeah, any things that kind of hold me back in life, or hold me back from loving people, or from trying, which has been my own things, over the past, coming from my younger years. And yeah, just getting rid of things like things in my mental state, um, and just crutches that I used throughout the years. uh,
Mm-hmm.
feel like, yeah, feel like I'm at my all-time best. Feel like I'm in my prime, and I feel like that's gonna be going for a while, my prime. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'd say, yeah, that being my best self, and also telling, beautiful stories through acting as I shift into more of, you know um, acting also, from stunts. But I still want to do stunts, as well. But I'd love to tell some more, tell more stories as characters, that are maybe a little bit different than usual mainstream ones, and to help people, shift their perspective of, you know, compassion, and, you know, just tell stories about people, that maybe some people, a lot of people are easy to hate on people, or not understand them, or kind of, um, yeah, just dismiss them as crazy, or whatever, messed up. But I feel like I've been crazy in my life, and messed up in different ways, and an addict and stuff. And I just feel like, yeah, there's some yeah, some stories I'd like to tell, and for, yeah, with
And
the
well,
intention of all that. Yeah. What were we saying?
I was gonna say I'm ready for you to share them, and I'm sure the audience is ready. So I can't wait for these creations to manifest. Which brings us to going for your win. That's what first brought us together. Um, and I'm just curious, what does going for your win mean to you? From what it means to me, it's stepping into the arena, it's embracing the process over the destination, and yeah, doing our best, showing up, embodying our dream self because we are that person already. We just need to allow ourselves to surrender, to lean into that knowing, to that being, to that state. From the last few years, what have you learned about going for your win? What does that mean to you? And yeah, what does winning look like for you?
For me, yeah, going back to like what I was saying, like shifting more into doing more meaningful stuff with my life. Things are meaningful and my relationships are meaningful, but like the acting, that partially, yeah, doing more of that, more of the storytelling, and putting my all into that. And also, like in Go for Your Win, I was talking about, eventually, creating a program to where I'm sharing, more of my experience with, exercise and, the all mindfulness stuff. And I wanted to create something where it's, where it's, movement, and also with the meditation, maybe some kind of music, and make it enjoyable, for everybody, and help people find a way to enjoy it, and not push too hard to where it's, something that they're gonna, kind of push away from because it's too much. Sometimes we're still just trying to deal with their whatever mental state, which a lot of people, um, probably find it hard to do both sometimes, but make it to where it's nicely balanced. And also wanted to, create some kind of app in the future for addicts and alcoholics to where they can come and, they have, access to professionals that can help them whenever they're feeling, weak or tempted to use or abuse or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
also of stuff like that, like mindfulness things included in the app to where they can maybe try to do it themselves by going to one of these things, meditation, or, some kind of sound things, or movement, guided movement, um, meditation type of thing, and something to get them feeling better. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so
So
those are
those,
my things.
yeah,
And
so
also,
those have been you
I'd
drumming,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'd like to play music more and just create like that for my own, yeah, enjoyment, and yeah, way of making money in the future and creating some kind of music. And yeah.
So let's like discuss like your inner work journey. So you've worked a lot on your mental health, to overcome various obstacles, which we'll get into. Um, but what are the foundations to your mental health? What are like have been the pivotal pieces to your well-being and to your transformation?
Getting, sober from, um yeah, drugs and alcohol, because from the beginning I felt like before I started doing drugs and drinking, my mental state, was already kind of, I was kind of confused, and, kung fu was keeping me good. I had a lot of, I guess, frustration inside me, and a lot of energy that I needed to exert somehow. And kung fu helped me a bit. I was still a bit funky during those times, and then after I kind of stopped doing kung fu around 17. I started using, drugs and alcohol, and then, I feel like I still had a lot of good times, and then towards later, um, started, started getting even more confused and lost, and until just hit rock bottom, and then began to stay, get my dream back, which was from The Secret. And I think I've told you about this, but I wound up having a bunch of things happen, and it was like almost like I was certainly going to jail. And then I picked up The Secret, which my mom had sent me like a year earlier, and then immediately, like right when I started reading, I was like awoken and started to use all the tools in it and started to really focus on what I wanted and believe in it. And then all types of stuff was manifesting from it. I started training again because I had my dream back to become, an action actor, and I was doing all this training, and still I used a little bit of marijuana throughout the years and would drink like when I first started. And it was just a process of getting away from, everything. And the marijuana is more like a medicine. But the alcohol, when I moved to China, I was using the alcohol, and to socialize. And then I'd notice I wouldn't feel as good afterward, like days afterwards, maybe from dopamine depletion. And I just felt, I was very lonely over there at first, and it was just like a process of getting away from it, and then wanting to do it again, even months later, then doing it, and then coming back to it, and kept going with it. And that's been my thing, which a lot of people maybe can do all these things and have no resistance because it's something that they believe is not a problem. But my belief always was I could be my best self sober, and I believe it. And then I've believed it, and then some time will pass, and then I'll start thinking about it, be like, life might be, life's better with whatever it is, maybe. And then go back to using, and then I always come back to the same conclusion, which is, I'm not being my best self, and I'm slacking in different ways, and different kind of energy and personality comes with it for myself. And yeah, it's been, I believe my sobriety has been my ultimate, ally in my whole process of feeling my best and being my best, and being my best for other people, and being there for other people the way that I always want to.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then
So yeah, and then go ahead.
oh no, other plant medicine has helped me also throughout the years, which I started using as just a party type of thing too, like mushrooms. And then, but I noticed every time I did do these things, there was an awakening that would happen, give me a different perspective, or help me realize some of my habits, give me, perspective to where I could see more things. And then took a big long break without it when I was in Asia, and then felt I was at like an all-time low, and came back for like a ceremonial type of thing, just the mushrooms, and big awakening from that. And then found the ayahuasca a few years ago, and that has been huge for getting stuff out of my body. And not like everybody needs it or whatever, but I just found it has been helpful in my healing journey and getting rid of trauma. And I can't say, I wouldn't be the same place I am with if I didn't do it. But yeah, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But I love it because then it's also for myself. It's not addictive. Like the last time I did ayahuasca was about a year and a half ago, or no, about a
Mm-hmm.
year ago. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I'm looking forward to it to feel good. So I'm kind of scared of it, and like it's like I'm all right. I'm getting ready for this mission. Do the diet, and going into them, a lot of times I'm like really scared. And even just the process of going to do it makes me like think more about my family and people, and just like make sure I'm doing my best even more than I usually am. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I that has helped me.
Yeah,
And
that's beautiful. I'd love to hear more about the takeaways you've learned first from the psilocybin, what you've learned from that medicine, and then what you learned from ayahuasca.
yeah, psilocybin, I feel like it's been pretty similar for myself. um, which is a lot of time it just brings things up with people I forgot about or people I wronged or people I'm not paying attention to that are hurting. There's a lot of times when I've done it, I'll be at a point in my life where too much is going on in my mind or whatever it is, and I'll realize, just those things come up and I can't take my attention off them and brings things up. And emotionally, I like feel it. I could feel the pain of whatever's going on in their lives because I guess because I'm sensitive. I've always been sensitive like that. But when I have a lot going on myself and I need, which some of those things are even the problem of what's going on maybe with me because I know people are hurting and I'm not reaching out or just saying, just checking up. And um, yeah, I'm just, trying to feel better myself. And those things will come up and it just brings an awareness to me. And I don't need it to be, I've done heavy doses on it, which are so profound and scary. And a lot of times it's like a almost death feeling and losing my mind, going crazy because you hear those things happening. So that's been like a reoccurring thing that happens to where I come to that and then I have to surrender and then I'm freed. And that's like the whole, yeah, uh, like it's been one of the main things that ends a lot of trips. Things will be beautiful. And if it's a heavy dose and on the ayahuasca too, it's happened. Um, but yeah, so the mushrooms, yeah, it's been a lot of that, just noticing patterns, things that I don't, um, like, maybe things that ways that patterns of the ways maybe I act or things going on in my life, things that bother me, things about my personality that kind of I'm aware of and insecure about or feel bad about. These things have been like they just slowly are leaving me and I feel the least resistance in my life and it's been from mushrooms like that type of stuff. Same with the ayahuasca. It's been that um I haven't I've had some pretty deep experiences on the ayahuasca, taking a good amount, but I keep coming to the point a lot of the times to where I can't surrender. I'm like, or I have expectations and I'm just going back and forth in my mind and just like I'm kind of I can't relax. I'll be stretching, I'll be moving around. So those have been and the most profound times with the ayahuasca has been with this other medicine which has made me just let go, which is this other thing called Yopo, which is masculine, like a grandfather medicine. And the first time I ever did ayahuasca, I took 1 cup of ayahuasca, nothing was happening. And the shaman offered me the Yopo, and then took that. And then I was just, stumbled off the tent and started throwing up. And then that's all I remember being, conscious, awake, I guess. And then, at first it was like I couldn't breathe because I took it the wrong way up the nose, and then went back to the tent, and then took off my shirt, and I tried to lay down and got up, just throwing up like crazy, crazy, yeah, like really intensely. And then this other guy, this veteran, he was he went off. He was like the first person to go off, and he was making all these crazy sounds, like he was suffering, being tortured. I guess going through his trauma, and it was didn't sound anything like him. That was the first time I ever experienced ayahuasca and what it does. And this guy was like making all these sounds like a child, but I guess he was going through his trauma from maybe the war or whatever. And then, they came. I saw him before I went to go use the medicine, and they put him back in the tent, like he was out, and his legs were like hanging out of the tent. And then while I was throwing up, he's like, I heard it, and it wasn't like him. It was like his spirit. He's like, there he is. It's like welcome, like it was like a welcome type thing to this realm. And he was like saying that. And that's the last thing I remember. And some other guys like. he's like, "Oh man, you got to throw open the holes," and I couldn't make it. I was like, I tried to throw open this bag, and I was like throwing up out the tent. It was raining, and then all of a sudden, I was just out for like 2 hours. I was with the ex-girlfriend at the time, and yeah, I was going through stuff in my mind, and it was similar to one of them or a couple of mushroom experiences that I had, to where there's some things with family in it and a lot of sadness, and I guess things to kind of wake me up to being you know proactive in my life, which has been a lot of the other times, even on low doses. But and then it came to this point where I start losing my mind, and then I see my mother, at the hospital, like she's there, and I'm just gone, and I just feel all this sorrow for my family, which has lost me, you know and just how they would feel. And then all of a sudden I'm just I'm kind of stuck with all this until I surrender and say, okay, this is what it is, that's it. And then all of a sudden it's like I was shot out, and I woke up the biggest smile, like a baby smile. I felt like a baby, like just so I just opened my eyes, and I was like, the girlfriend was there, and then yeah, that was my first experience with it, and it was like a death, which which felt like it was the end, coming to that point, because there was no coming back. And I noticed that a lot on mushrooms. It's very narrow. It's narrowed when you start thinking about something, whether good or bad. It's just like, especially if it's fear, you just start going in, you can't get out. It's like takes you towards it, and it's terrifying until you surrender. So those are, yeah, the differences. I know you've had a bunch of experiences, and we'll talk about that now or later, whatever. But I'd like to
Yeah,
hear more.
we could talk about that another time. I want to keep this focused on you. So one thing with your medicines, you really brought and shed light on a lot of trauma you face. What have you learned about trauma and how to overcome that? That could be helpful for someone listening who have their unprocessed trauma within them still stuck.
Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of my trauma myself has been, yeah, just growing up and a lot of family stuff, and just I've always been, pretty understanding, and I don't know, when it started. It might have, been when I was around 17, when I first took mushrooms, when I saw a lot of stuff. But I, I just seems like I've had a understanding for a long time that you know that they're messed up, but yeah, I mean they're messed up in their own way. They're beautiful people, and in so many ways, and just because they made mistakes or whatever, um, you know, with me or whatever, whoever it is, I've always seen people as they're just messed up. Because I've had myself, I've been messed up and done stuff in my younger days where you know, some people probably couldn't forgive me. I could see that.
Uh,
Uh, and I can just understand it's their process. And, if I feel like most people, whether it's during their life, they're going to understand and have to deal with whatever it is. And it's going to hurt, and it's going to be, you know, whatever it is, for them to process it or understand it. Or it might be when they die, you know, before they die, or they could feel all this pain or whatever it is, or whatever we do. But I know it's all supposed to be the way it is for whatever reason. You can look at it. So many people that done so much stuff with their life, and they go through a lot of hard times, and it makes them more, um, yeah, it makes them more powerful in a way, because they have to overcome it, and they pushes them in different ways. And if everybody's the same, probably be on the same path, but go off a little crazy and then come back and learn some things, or have some things in our mind or experience that give us extra energy, even if they're bad,
mm-hmm,
and it's our
mm-hmm.
job to make it right with ourselves, however it is, and whatever somebody else did with, kind of, if we can. try to forgive it, and that frees us. And whatever we've done to ourselves or the way we look at ourselves, we got to try to love ourselves and realize that, we're always making mistakes, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I answered the
So yeah, for
question.
sure. So there's two directions I want to take this. I'm trying to think where I want to go, but um, let's tackle the first one. So I think a big piece of accepting what happened to you, and that it was just and recognizing that it happened for you, and you have an opportunity to grow stronger from it, was forgiveness. What have you learned about forgiveness? Forgiveness of yourself for what you've done, and also forgiveness for others who have harmed you. Where has forgiveness played a part in this healing? And yeah, just kind of what does that look like?
It gives me, it's given me, yeah, less resistance in my own mental, mental thought pattern, because I notice, I've always noticed things will come into my mind. And before, I wasn't really aware of, what was going on in my mind, or, I'd play out different scenarios with whoever I was mad at or whatever, and my mental state, and they'd give me, kind of give me, it would give me some kind of anxiety or maybe more frustration, and would kind of take my mind away, out of my control. And one of my, I remember when I first read The Secret, especially, like, there's still, there was a lot of things I was thinking really negatively, because I was trying to stop taking things, and just life just seemed, my mind was going all towards these paths that it really, seemed like, and I was trying to get away from these things, and I couldn't for so long, so many attempts. And um um yeah, me, yeah, but it was some things with some people, some fights I was in with, some people, or some things that they did, and it was real grimy. And I just started forgiving all these people, like, along with everything else. I was, from The Secret, I was using a lot of gratitude, and I was just taking everything so, you know, serious, that was in the book, and as truth. And because I read the book, I felt like it was like God talking to me. Like, it was like all of a sudden I had all this information. And then I started thanking, these people, and also, first forgiving, and then thanking them for whatever it was, and seeing them as them, as, like, somebody that holds up this tough kind of personality, but really is, can hurt just like anybody else, and probably, has been hurt by other people, and is the way that they are because, most likely they were hurt by other people, or they're around sick people. And some people have no good people in their life, I feel like. And I've been blessed to have a lot of good friends and good family, and yeah, letting go of the resentment, and yeah, just holding on, waiting for somebody to forgive me. Once I let that go, it was just freedom. There's a lot of freedom in that, and just more love, just allowed to, because that's something, also one of those resistances in life. If we have that, it's like, it kind of, I feel like, it held me back. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
those things not helpful in any way, unless you're fighting in some kind of, fighting all the time. Then I guess you could use that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely hurt people hurt others, and it's great that you're able to recognize that and forgive those people. You've mentioned The Secret a bunch, so I just want to kind of get into that for a moment. Like, what were the practical tools you learned from there? You mentioned a few, gratitude being one, but also talk about your application of that, because one thing to read something and to understand something, it's another to apply it, and to integrate it. And I feel like that's a step like people often miss, including myself, is like you know, you understand, but then it's like you have to apply those actions. Um, you have to embody it. So yeah, what were like the main takeaways, the main lessons you absorbed from The Secret, and how you practically applied that and took action with it?
Um, yeah, the a lot of, I don't even remember everything the book's about again, but the basic things are, I feel like, coming to understand what it is that your heart desires,
Uh,
and believing in it, being, happy with where you are, whatever you're, doing it, whatever you're doing in life and wherever you're at, but having that, um, awareness of what you want and taking the steps to figure out how can you get to it, you know, um, and using the gratitude, in your life now, which started right away for me. Like everything I was reading in the book, I was doing immediately. I wasn't, like the movie, I don't know if the movie would have served me as much if I would have just watched the movie and done it like that, which I know a lot of people have. But I was reading the book and I'd do it as I did it, and really focus on it, and put 100% into, you know, what it was telling me. So started, really thinking about what I wanted, in life, because I was just thinking before that, I was thinking how to survive and what's going to happen to me and all this stuff. And then I started thinking about what I wanted and what I loved, and at the time, the woman that I wanted, and started to do all these things, and use the gratitude right away. I was using it for my own life. Started to just see what was around me, and there was so much to be grateful for, even though I was, in the um, circumstances that I was in at that time. And then these things started to, I started to really feel it for the first time in my life. I felt gratitude, for things that I got, or, for, yeah, people, relationships. But I wasn't even, I wasn't aware of the feeling that I was feeling. I was just happy. I felt like it was. But then as I started to do the gratitude and write it out and really sit with it, and just feel it, like it started to come, it started to be um, more obvious of everything that was going on, and it was attracting more and more of that. I was seeing so many things, and all these things started manifesting, as I was also believing in what I wanted. And I was seeing that, and I was seeing what my future, what I wanted my future to be like. And then I kept noticing, and every little thing I noticed, I was like, thank you. And I was like feeling this connection with God. And this was the most I've ever, felt with the gratitude at that time. And I just kept feeling like blown away, like chills all the time. And then I'd see these things happen, which would seem to be like magic, manifesting. And I was like, whoa, this happened. And also like creating things as I went, like like what I wanted to happen in the day. Like if I had something coming up, really feeling the feelings of what it would feel like for that to manifest. And I was feeling it now at the time. And then all of a sudden, the things would happen, and I'd be like, have that gratitude right there in the moment for that thing. And then it was just like thing after thing, and just everything was happening so perfectly. And then, speaking of this, and I still go back and speak about this, this was like 15 years ago, about how powerful this time of my life was. And I don't know if it was just because I came from like an all-time low, and then started having all these feelings, but I feel like it went on for about maybe 6 months. And then I, manifested this woman in my life, which I thought was, everything that I wanted. And it was a beautiful relationship at the time. And Yeah, I went up like drinking and taking some, I think Xanax with her or something. But then like right after that, it was like all of a sudden my vibration was low again, and I felt like it was all stripped, and I kept trying to grab back onto what I had, and it was like I couldn't get it, and there was this resistance that had begun with the gratitude and those things. I still had my dreams, and I kept working towards them, kept training and stuff. Kind of slipped back into using a little bit, and then was auditioning for shows and for Kung Fu Panda live arena touring show. That was like the one of the main thing as I was doing before I went to Asia. I was auditioning for that, and yeah, I got two auditions, and then was getting ready for the last one, um, and yeah, wound up getting canceled at the time. But anyways, that was uh, that was, I think, for the most part of the question.
Yeah. So let's talk about relationships. You've learned a lot about relationships in your life, and you've now ended up in the most beautiful relationship of your life with your partner Leanne. It's been a year and a half you've been together. Let's trace your journey to this most beautiful relationships, because you've alluded to other relationships in the past where you thought like, okay, this is going in the right direction, and then the universe threw you a curveball. So how do you grieve those relationships, and how have you moved forward onto better things, which is now Leanne, the best relationship you've had by far to date? Yeah, it's just what have you learned about relationships on your journey? Um, the highs and the lows of that path.
Um, yeah, uh, at first, I mean, like I feel like it's just been a collective awareness of what what I wanted in life, and the the harmonious partner for me. And all of partners in the past have been, you know, the ones that were for me at the time, or maybe I was at the time, and I changed also, and was going through different times in my life, and I changed, and we just turned out not to be, you know, the ones for each other. Um, and I believe, there's been something that I appreciate in every one of those relationships, and I know that I've learned about myself and about being, there for another person, and learned about them, and and what they need, and how to be a better lover myself. Um, but yeah, there was times where I felt like, that maybe, was wrong, made the wrong choice, but it really wasn't. Everything I believe is perfect, and um, yeah, everything was perfectly the way it was to evolve me and evolve them to our, next partner, and which lands me here with my beautiful Leanne. And yeah, she's really, yeah, just the most loving, compassionate, caring, thoughtful um, person, yeah, partner that I've ever known. And um, I feel like it's straight from God, because I believe in God as an energy. I guess I feel like, she's the gift from all my work that I've been doing. Because the past year before I met her, also I feel like I was doing my most work. Um, yeah, before I met her, I took a year off alcohol because I wasn't drinking that much, anyways. Leading up to her, I was just drinking maybe every 3 months. It'd come up, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna drink and socialize or whatever. And I felt like, it was something that helped me get along with people, but I still had this nervous energy about me and stuff, which, I wasn't developing because I would count on this, even though it was once in a while. I feel like more have stayed away from things. It's like I keep having to try harder and become my best self as sober. And yeah, I took the year off alcohol, and then the next year came out of a relationship, and I'm like right as the year ended, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna take a year off smoking, because smoking has been my main love, out of everything, that has been, very easy on me, gentle and compassionate with me, and helped me through the times when I was dealing with harder drugs or alcohol, whatever. Has always helped me, find a state of peace and love, and you know, just healing in my body and everything. And I was like, I can, I really, it's been a thing, an idea of mine, like to live my sober life, but it kept coming back, to where it'd come up, and I would be, kind of low, and I'd be like, yeah, smoke, man, I'm gonna have a fucking awesome time, because every time I go back to smoking, I have a blast, and I'm just like in a state of bliss all day long. And then, but then the next day, I'm like, all right, I'll just smoke this day, and then the next day, I feel kind of down, and it's always like, oh, let's just smoke again, and then it starts on again, and then I fall into the similar, for myself, similar behavior that I had. I've been evolving in my high state, but still, things happen. Like, I'm not as organized in my mind, and my time goes towards smoking, which, I like too. I like socialize, the social part of smoking too. But I just want to evolve, without it. And I wanted to do that at that time, so I took the year off of smoking, and I met her at that time, about 6 months in, and she was really, yeah, there for me, and yeah, just, support. She's supportive of every single thing I do in my life, understanding, and I can be in full truth with her, because of how evolved she is, and and I still have, confusing things, in my mind, which, I'm so grateful that I can express them to her, and she can be open to the way, way that I'm thinking, and we could talk about it, and we're always communicating it about every single thing, that we do in our lives, and yeah, we're very very similar in a lot of ways, like best friends since the beginning, since I first met her, which I feel like I haven't found, often in my life, and especially not like how we are. And it's just, it's very, very comfortable and loving,
Hmm.
nurturing relationship.
That's so beautiful. I'm so happy for both you and Leanne. What would you say would be the keys to your relationship?
The communication, yeah, and truth, and um, doing, staying on the path of what we love ourselves, so we don't lose, you know, what we were already, set out doing beforehand, or whatever our hearts, decide as they change. We believe we need to be, open to it no matter what, because if, you know, we could, compromise, we do compromise, but to sacrifice something that maybe is, important to us. I feel like we have to, live out our own lives still as we're together. Still trying,
Hmm.
both still trying to figure it out too. It's not perfect. We have ups and downs, and yeah, we keep communicating.
Yeah, I think like all relationships have ups and downs, and so you would say how you navigate those ups and downs, the foundation to that is communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Communicating and compassion for, you know, for each other. And although, we might not like something, we got to remember, yeah, that, act as if that's us, each,
Mm-hmm.
We're one,
Mm-hmm.
we're all one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's talk about fear. Fear has come up a lot in your journey, undoubtedly, and you often step past it. For example, moving to China, there must have been fear involved in taking that jump, but that led to tons of opportunities, and education and connections, and then just the fear of returning to the US and restarting here. Um, so often people feel inclinations to like make that jump, to jump into that unknown world. And fear is what holds them back at that crossroads of should and must. They stay on that path of shoulds, like I should do this, I should play it safe, I should get like a 9 to 5 job, or I should stay in my comfort zone. Whereas the must is that deep inner calling that's wanting them to jump, to leap, to surrender, to the faith, and to know that the universe has got your back. And you've so often left. What has helped you do so? And what advice would you give someone at that crossroads of should and must, stuck in the mud? Like they had that dream, the dream to travel or go, or to quit their job, or to go to that yoga training, or to pick up drums, take drum lessons, or take acting lessons, or whatever that may be for them. But like that, the fear is just holding them back. How have you overcome that? And yeah, your advice for a fellow traveler.
Just really just yeah, taking the step, but sometimes it's more comfortable to do what we're doing or whatever it is. But if there's something, because there's something you can remember in your life where you didn't want to do something and then you did it and then something came out of it, try to maybe sit and think about those things, because that's where I found the most profound changes in my life happened, was where I didn't want to do things, or was just felt like I was depressed or feeling down. I was to start to think about why I shouldn't do it. It's probably not going to work, or it's probably um, something bad might happen or whatever it is. But then I did it, and then I step out of it way happier, and something else came from it. And then I
Mhm.
keep noticing, I kept noticing that would happen. And it used to be something that I'd really have to, I used to have a lot of resistance around doing things. And as I just did them, it just became, automatic, as my will just says, okay, if I have something, I just kind of trust in that comes to me, just like this podcast you mentioned doing, and I'm kind of studying and doing things these days, trying to get ready for this performance. And I'm thinking, oh, I might not be that motivated, or maybe there's a better time to do it. That crossed my mind, but then I said, just do it. you know and then I came on here, and you asked the best freaking questions I've ever heard in my life, and it's so powerful, these things, how you do this. And I couldn't have imagined this. I really, I mean, I couldn't imagine exactly what we'd be talking about, how it's going. And um but it's something I decided to do, and I feel great. I'm doing it. Like, I didn't know where I was going to do it. I came out to here. I'm like, let me do it by the drums. I love my drums, and had that happen. And then the other things in Asia, there's so much resistance, and there's so much doing things for free. Like, that was pretty much, I feel like, the start of my career and everything. And there was so many times, where I was just down, and trying to be sober, and things. So many times was thinking about things and not wanting to do things, but then I did it, and led to the next thing, just meeting people. And it was slow, because I did stuff for so much free stuff for years. But then all these people, added up in my life to where they're, some kind of connection, for jobs, or hook me up with jobs, or connection for other people. And now there's this whole um network of people which, I've helped, and has created this very enjoyable atmosphere of my dream that, was once just a dream. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I had that dream, and then as these things came, I didn't know there were steps to doing what I wanted to do in my life, but I did it. And the same thing with the acting. I've been taking acting classes throughout my life since high school, on and off, and I felt like I was okay, but I really still didn't know much. And then last year I was just kind of sitting around a lot of days waiting for work. And I was like, what the heck can I do with my time? I was feeling like a bum. And then I was like, let me start going to acting school, and started doing this. And, it's been work just to go. It's like a travel from here in Long Island to get there. It's like an hour and a half. And then I'm there for 3 hours, and then got to come back. And it's just something like my will is just automatic. I'm like, all right, just keep doing this. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, still have doubts, of course, about everything, my career and what's going to happen in the future. But I'm just doing what I can with you know, what I know to be something I enjoy, which is the best thing I feel like I can do is keep doing things I enjoy. And
Absolutely.
yeah, but things are working out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Let's take that moment to acknowledge some of the mentors and helpers you've met on the path. I'm sure there's many, but let's just single out a few special ones who left a notable impact on you. Who were they, and what were your primary takeaways you learned from them that you've now incorporated into your life and into your being?
Um, my father, of course, and just doing the stuff that I need to do. He definitely, he's always telling me. I didn't listen to him. It took me a long time to listen to him, and I still don't listen to him. Some things, he wanted me to join the Air Force and shit. He keeps telling me because that's what he did, and he even till now he's like, you should do something else. You could join the Air Force. I just keep telling him no, because it's not what I want to do, and I feel like it'd be a waste of my time to go do this and put my energy towards something like that. Although I'd get good benefits and it'd be maybe easier. He has been a mentor, and just the way he is socially, and he's a very loving man. Um, learned so many things from him throughout the years. My mother, compassion and love, just the way that she's always made me question myself, which I also didn't listen to, at first, but she would always tell me, don't say things to people, say mean things to people because you hurt them, and made me really think about it from a young age and just feel people's pain, of how it could be in their situation or how they are. And then, yeah, 3 years, my good friend Richie should always stand up for people and do the right things in situations. In most situations, we were both crazy partying for years, and he just passed away about 2 years ago from heroin or fentanyl, which we were both on that journey together. We both started that journey, and I was lucky to keep on with that willpower to get away from you know pills and stuff, opiates, and then he went to rehab, and then as I was in Asia, a lot of my friends are similar things. They just couldn't get away from everybody and things kept coming back up, and I don't know how it would have been for me if I stayed, but it just went on with him for the rest of his life, and then till he died a couple of years ago from it. But he was always, very honest and truthful about how things should be and how people should act, and he would call people out and stand up for people, and he was a big inspiration in my life, and learned a lot, and I still coming to remember things about him forever. Um, and when I got to Hong Kong or China, and then Hong Kong later on. One of my teachers is Mark Houghton, he was an action actor over there and stuntman for many years in Hong Kong, and he taught me the real way to do action and reaction, Hong Kong style, you know, Hong Kong way. And yeah, he really taught me, you know, how to really make things more powerful and use my kung fu skills, which I already have. I already had at the time very powerful moves and powerful stuff, but as performance more so. And he taught me how to shift into doing it into film, and um, then yeah, later on, the Hong Kong Stuntman Association class, which I took, which is my good friend Carrie over there. He told me about it. I went to go take the the class. Go try. That was another one of those things. The willpower. I called and they were like, the class is, it's just for Hong Kong, residents or whatever, and it's going to be in Cantonese. And I told him, he's like, I guess you come try if you want. And then I came and I performed, and they loved my performance, and they were like, "Hell yeah!" and do it. And my good friend Samson over there, which translated and helped me throughout the class for the long time I was there. Um, and then a lady YY, which she's a stunt woman over there, and she really helped me, understand things and socially navigate through, the world over there. Hong Kong Stuntman Association, and Chin Ka Lak, which is he was Jackie Chan's stuntman. He was an action star. He's still an action star over there in movies and stuff. But he's the president of Hong Kong Stuntman Association. He gave me the chance to, to join the class, and he embraced it, and he was very good to me during it, and then even made me a board member, which was like unthinkable. Like to be on a board member, they're all dealing Cantonese. Made me an executive member of the Hong Kong Stuntman Association. I got a card for it, and I wasn't doing much in it, but he wanted to make two people from the class, another girl, and me. And then I was blown away by that, and then still gave me a chance, even though I hadn't been back in years too. They still put me on to be so. And then here, when I came back to America, doing things for free for a long time too, and just trying to get into the stunt world over here was hard. Even coming back with the experience I had and skills. Roberto Lopez, my friend over here, he gave me a chance. One day I kept reaching out to him. My friend Mark also reached out to him. And then, a year went by, another year went by, and then I forgot how it happened. I think through a seminar I took or something. And then one of his guys maybe mentioned something, and then he called me, to come show up to a set, and just meet one of the coordinators over there. And he, tried for me, and then he started inviting me to some trainings and stuff. And yeah, she was just showing me, how things go over here, and also about kung fu, his style of kung fu, and also, the action that he learned because he spent a lot of time in Hong Kong as well. And yeah, he got me my first job over here. Actually, my second job over here, but he got me my my first big job TV show, which was Blue Bloods, and then from then on, just training me in a lot of different things, wire work and everything. And yeah, I have to thank all those guys, and thank Leanne, and her family also for accepting me, like they do as part of the family, and my sister too, for always being, throughout my years, my childhood years. I feel like I was lost and very sad, and I feel like she was there for me in my hardest times in life. My sister Stephanie, and Yeah. She was always my big sister savior, and I got to
Mhm.
thank her, and I got to thank you for putting me on here, babe. Let me thank all these people and all these beautiful people
Yes.
who asked me.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor to get to know you as a friend and to connect with you on this episode. I have a few more questions, a few final questions that I ask every guest, and we're at that point. Through all the highs and lows that is this hero's journey, what do you feel has been the greatest life lesson you've learned on your path thus far that is most true to you right now?
The greatest lesson you said?
Yeah, greatest life lesson that you've learned on your path that in this moment is most true to you.
Um, keep keep waking myself up. I'd say like that's how I put it, but keep checking in to make sure I'm um, reaching out to people that I know are having a hard time or whatever. Just like Richie, like I was seeing him here and there. I felt like I could have done more. Um, yeah, like before he died, I feel like there could have been another way if it happened how it was supposed to happen. But I guess that's my journey in life is to become my best self for other people around and just put my heart into the relationship and yeah, just do all I can for those in my life where I feel inspired to, like if something comes to mind, like because a lot of times it'll be like I think of it, I'm like, oh, I should reach out to the person, and then I ignore it. Then it could happen again, ignore it when I could just call them for 5 minutes or whatever it is. So that's my greatest lesson, I'd say, at the moment that I could think of because that makes me feel, you know, I guess that gives me the most fulfillment, or I don't know if it's just, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I believe that's it. And do what you love because see so many people not doing what they love, and I don't know if they're still having good lives or if it's the same because I go on ups and downs too, and I guess every life is meaningful and every experience is meaningful, but for myself, I'd say you know do what you love, whether you're getting paid for it or not. Find something to do that you flow in to enjoy.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what for someone listening and they hear that and then they don't know what they love. Maybe what they once loved is no longer fueling them and they're
Mm.
confused. Have you been there and how did you find like yeah, so yeah, what if you don't know what you love? Well, what to do? What do you do there?
Yeah, that's true because I feel like I've been in that state. I was in that state for a good probably 10 years. Like even after
Mm.
I felt like I wanted to go back to movies, it was kind of when I first moved to Hong Kong and I was hoping things happen here and then moved over to China, Hong Kong, and then it was like I had this dream, but it wasn't manifesting, and then it's kind of killed something inside of me to where I didn't feel any kind of big desire. I was just doing things, day by day. Still like kind of hope something would happen and kept training, kept showing up to stuff, but I felt like I was kind of depressed and not going at I didn't have anything like that I really, really loved to do, like martial arts or even the fight scenes or doing stuff. I don't, I like it in the moment, like when I'm shooting, and just being there and having to do everything perfect and with the time restraint. But I feel like I lost, passion for those things that I had, and now it's more so. Um, drums. Like that's my main passion now, and I found that slowly too. I bought the drum set. I don't even know how I got inspired to do it, but I've always made little beats in my like just tapping things or just making beats. Like, and I just felt like this urge to do stuff, and I have this energy that I need to let out, which Kung Fu has been that outlet for me, and I've been I became very powerful with it because I have this energy that I don't know what it comes from, but that I love expressing myself with power. And now with the music, it's like I could beat the heck out of these drums and make this music, also make a beat to it, and have like a creative flow of a sound that comes out, and things start making more sense to me as I keep playing it, with the intention of just having fun and
Mm-hmm.
getting into that flow. Um, yeah, but
That's yeah,
yeah,
that's super neat how like intuition brought you to the drums. You felt a calling to it and
yeah,
you followed it.
yeah, yeah. And it was slow too, because I had it at my friends. I had the drum set at my friends, and I was going to play it like once a month for a long time. And then once I started playing more, and then got a set um, at my place, and then just start playing every time I can. It's like the thing I look forward to every day. I'm like kind of like dreaming about it, like I did with Kung Fu at first. I'd be like kind of dreaming about it, like what I'd be doing and stuff, and that's that's been like the most powerful driving force. Like I feel that again, but even I think I think even more. It might be about the same, but even maybe even more with the drums, and it's not as crazy physical on the body to where I'm like really sore after. Although my wrists have been real sore, um, but yeah, I don't know. I found more enjoyment. It's more relaxed, I guess. Getting a bit older, which I'm
Yeah.
not that old, 37. I feel like I can do more things, have a balance, still do the action and stunt work, but I like to do acting and music. And I feel like it's, yeah, a well-rounded thing of expressing myself and emotions.
Amazing. Amazing. In three words, Tom, how would you describe the experience you're having on this earth? So they could just be three separate words and you can elaborate on them if you feel called. But yeah, in three words, how would you describe the experience you're having on this earth?
Um, uh, Powerful, harmonious, compassionate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful.
Powerful. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, powerful because I feel, yeah, a sense of this great power that's kind of, as I discover things in my life, I feel like this whatever, powerful awareness is kind of watching me. And like, as I do things, I look back and I'm like, wow. And I feel this power. And harmonious, um, because, yeah, also because that I believe in it, and I believe it's harmony, like happening. And even the bad times, everything's like within the harmony. And compassion, because of the feeling that I feel that this source has for me and everybody here, whether any way we die or whatever, any kind of life we live, there's still compassion. And I feel like we're freed at the end, um, no matter what. And that, you know, yeah, that freedom is this experience is um, meant to be. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Absolutely.
come,
Absolutely. Final question. We've played around with time. We've examined your past. We've examined your present. Let's get into the future. Let's travel to a time quite a ways away, and we'll travel to a place where we sit with the 85-year-old Tom Caserto. Who is that 85-year-old Tom? Where are you? Who are you surrounded by? What is the legacy you've left here in your 85 years, and what is the predominant feeling in your being and in your body?
Fulfillment and contentment, um, that I'm feeling there, and surrender to what is, because I don't, you know, I kind of feel like I don't, probably wouldn't look, I don't feel like I would, I don't look forward to those, that moment of being so old, but I know at that point I'll be evolved, I'm sure, and I'll be happy where I am and ready for what comes next, which is who knows, and but all of us do have that experience and get to see what's on the other side. So I feel, I hope to be excited and, still learning and loving my best, and sharing, my experience with those who ask for, you know, any advice, or, as, yeah, just any people I'm coming in contact with, and maybe, yeah, I'm sure I write a nice book to share, because I really don't care if people, you know, remember me. Like when I hear people talk about, I want to be remembered, and stuff like that. I feel like I really don't care, but maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe I should care to, to change things in the world, which I feel like I know, like I've always known that I want to do great things and help people. And a lot of times I don't really have the passion to do it, or feel it so much, but I once have, and I know that it's right. Like, and, yeah, just, yeah, hope that just share as much as I can. And I guess everybody changes the world for, yeah, in one way or another. And I guess God, yeah, I feel like, I guess that's our work here on earth. I don't know.
Hmm.
I kind of I lost the question as I'm
Nah,
thinking.
nah, that's
Hmm,
pretty incredible. I would just like you
that
to
it?
take a moment longer with this 85-year-old Tom. Maybe close your eyes, and I just want you to step into that embodiment of that Tom, that 85-year-old who's fulfilled, who's content, who's surrendered, fully surrendered to the now. He's happy and ready and excited for the next chapter. He's continuously evolving, still learning, and has found a way to help the world, continuously sharing his experience with others, and has even written a book. And just feel what that feels like in that embodiment of that 85-year-old Tom. And I'm going to bring us back. I'm going to bring us back to the present day, to this infinite now. And in this infinite now, that 85-year-old Tom, he whispers in your ear a message for current 37-year-old Tom. What does he share with you, Tom?
So take your, yes, do your best. And what I felt was, yeah, with be gentle with people, and, yeah, choices, I guess, yeah, the choices that I make, yeah, just take a little time to think about them a little bit, depending on what it is, I feel like. But yeah, be gentle with people, and try your best.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, try
Thank,
your
thank,
general. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Thank Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Tom. And for people wanting to connect with you, they can find you on Instagram at Tom Caserto. Any last closing words for myself and the audience?
Thank you, Derek, for all that you share and all these podcasts. And yeah, it's incredible, just like how you decided to do all this stuff and bring all these questions up, and people, you kind of organize them so beautifully to where people, this helps people so much. I feel like this is such a powerful, you know podcast that you hold here. And yeah, thank you for doing all this work, and giving me the chance to share these things here, and thank the audience for watching until the end.
Uh,
And for yeah, it's
it's been a pleasure.
that's about all. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you, Derek.
Let's bring it
Yeah,
in.
we'll meet one of these days in person.
Absolutely. Let's bring it into the winner circle. A choice. Boom. Stepping
Oh,
into the arena. Thank you,
yeah,
brother. Um,
thank you. It was
that's a
beautiful.
wrap. And that's a wrap on today's call.
All right. I'll talk to you in a few, buddy. Thanks, man.